Jay's Outdoor Magazine with Mike Avery is brought to you in part by the Hunter Safety System.
If you haven't had an opportunity to travel to Ohio and fish the Lake Erie shoreline, it is amazing. There's all kinds of opportunities there. Perch, walleye, smallmouth, steelhead, you name it, and that area of Lake Erie has it to offer. A lot of the guys are going to get ready to get us set up for your fishing, and now's a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the style of fishing we're going to do on Lake Erie today. We're going to be using a device that a lot of people simply don't know about. It's called a jet diver. It's nothing more than a floating diving device, similar to a crankbait, except for there's no hooks on it. What we do is we run a leader off the back of it, and we're going to be fishing very small spoons today. The Wolverine Junior Streaks is the spoon that we'll be fishing today. We'll be using these in combination with big ski planer boards, triple board planer boards, to get everything out to the side so we can cover a lot of water. Here on Lake Erie, it's amazing how clear the water is nowadays. You can look down in the water, you can see down 10, 15 feet. Without the use of planer boards, you're simply not going to catch many fish here. You just can't fish flat behind the back of the boat. You got to get these lines out to the side. So the jet diver is going to take us down, the spoon's going to catch the fish, and the planer boards are going to get us out to the side. That's the system. What I'm going to do now is I drop this jet diver back. I'm going to let it back on the line counter to about 55 feet. 55 feet should run this down around 15, 16 feet below the surface. Once I get the lead length back the distance that I want, in order to control how deep I want it below the surface, I'm just going to simply click this thing in gear, get a planer board release, hook the line into the planer board release, hook the planer board release onto the tether line, and let her slide on out to the side. What do you think, your first walleye, huh? That's not a bad way to start. You're talking about 2.5, 3 pound fish there. That's a good one. Hey, skunk's out of the box. That's a good one to start out with. How it's done. That is how it's done. Years ago, Lake Erie was famous for large numbers of walleye, limit catches, quick catches, but a lot of small fish. Nowadays, Lake Erie is a little different. There aren't as many fish in the system as there once were, but there are bigger walleyes in the system. So nowadays, when you fish on Lake Erie, you're not likely to get a quick limit, but when you do get your limit, the fish you catch are likely to be much bigger than they were 10 or 12 or 15 years ago, and that's exactly how our trip went.
Putting a little edge on the hooks here, keep them good and sharp. Some of these hooks, this hook used to be just like this, but as you can see, that hook has caught a few fish and it's no longer red, so sharpen it up and maybe catch a few more fish before we switch out and go with the new hook on the spoon.
The whole spoon program that we're catching these fish here on Lake Erie today is not exactly a classic Lake Erie fishing method. It's a relatively new presentation. Historically, this body of water has been fished by people who drift and fish with crawler harnesses, bumping along the bottom, casting them on weight-forward spinners. The trolling phenomenon in these spoons is something that's been relatively new, and the reason why this has changed is because the spoons are imitating a type of forage that's really prevalent here in the Great Lakes now. Just a few years ago, this body of water had primarily gizzard shad in it. Now, gizzard shad are not very abundant here anymore. There's a different forage base. The forage that these walleyes are eating now are emerald shiners. Guess what? Emerald shiners are long and skinny, and they look a lot like these little junior streak spoons. So that's why the spoon bite has taken off so much here in recent years. Spoons do a better job of matching the hatch.
Jay's Outdoor Magazine with Mike Avery is brought to you in part by ATK Premium Partners.
Wow, look at that one. That's a classic Lake Erie walleye. Ethan, nice job. Nice job. And here's that beat up spoon that had all the paint eaten off of it. Tell you what, if you get a spoon like this that's got all the paint off of it, that's gold. You want to keep that. I don't care if all the paint falls off. That is a good fish catching spoon right there. That's a good one. Trolling spoons aren't any different than any other fishing lure. They come in a multitude of colors. And the only way to figure out on any given day what color is best is to put a bunch of different colors in the water and let the fish decide. And that's exactly what we did. On a big charter boat like we were fishing on, you're going to run anywhere from 4 to 5 lines per side. So you might have 8 to 10 lines in the water at a time. And the way we chose our colors is we mixed and matched them at first, and then as we started getting bites on specific colors, we tried to keep track of what colors were producing best. And then of course switched over, to the better colors and got some of the the less productive colors out of the program. There's a fish. Well, it's been a great couple of days in Ohio. Our fishing trip didn't start with a fishing trip. It actually started with a family vacation at Cedar Point, the fun park. Had a great time there with the kids, riding the rides and doing all that cool stuff. And just a couple miles down the road, look what waits you if you want to double up on your vacation. An opportunity to have some fun on shore and fun on the water. Walleye fishing don't get any better.
Closed captioning for Jay's Outdoor Magazine is provided by the Dow Chemical Company.